What's going on, everybody? I know I've been away for a while, and maybe I'll make a video about just what the fuck is going on in my life. But for now, this is something new that I decided I'm going to give a try between my longer videos and just cover a story and make a really quick video out of it. Instead of taking days on end, and it's raining cats and dogs outside, which I guess is kind of appropriate considering the topic of this video. So let's see if I'm even capable of making it short but sweet. So let's get it on! It feels so good to be back here at the Dexter Lake Club.
So hit it!
Oh, what is that? A warning! Oh no! Oh no! FBI? Who is this FBI? What are they trying to warn us about?
Some headlines are intentionally funny or clever. Some unintentionally so, either by misprint or just for the sake of brevity, extracting vital information. Then there are those that are just, well, this. But every once in a while, you find the holy freaking grail of irony. Or something like this. Anyway, up with the skirts, down with the panties. Oh, yeah. I was scrolling through the news one day in the merry, merry month of May. I was taken by surprise by a story based on lies. And a mutton head and mutton chop backwoods mook named after cured pig. Woo! Everybody sing along! Cue the music! Alright, first let's get to the story and then we'll get to the mutton head and mutton chop backwoods mook named after cured pig. So, this comes out of Kentucky. Enough said. Thanks for watching! Owners of the biblical replica of Noah's Ark sue over rain damage. And it wasn't even 40 days and 40 nights. That's called a jab, folks. Can you say jab? So, basically, the Ark Encounter insurers are refusing to cover, of all things, rain damage. However, upon reading the story, it's not as ironic as they make it sound. The damage was actually caused by a landslide blocking the access road to the Ark. Which, by the way, for those that are unfamiliar with it, it's a replica of Noah's Ark that doubles as a creation museum. So, it's basically the closest thing atheists have to the Comedy Store. And is the biggest wood frame structure in the world. That would sink like a fucking stone. In fact, if you flip the second largest wood frame structure in the world, which I believe is the Todaiji in Japan, on its roof, it's probably more buoyant. We all live in Noah's submarine. Hope he can swim, giraffe, with its head poking out of the top. So not only is it the biggest wooden structure in the world, it's the biggest hemorrhaging of cash in the world, and is losing money faster than the lions and tigers on the Ark would have eaten everything else. Anyway, the Ark is the brainchild, I use brain loosely and child exactly, or even more accurately, the Ark is from the child-brained, mutton-headed, mutton-chop backwoods mook named after cured pig that I mentioned earlier. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, God's left-hand man, Ken Ham. So, Kenny Dodgers here decides he's going to build an Ark. Just like Noah! You know, with heavy machinery, Owens Corning fiberglass, and a fucking nail gun. Yeah, so anyway, he builds this replica of the Ark. Well, okay, he didn't build it. About $100 million, thousands of man-hours, and hundreds of people did. You know, just like Noah! Oh, fun fact! By the way, do you know how the Bible gets around the issue of one man having to build a structure of that magnitude? By making him 500 years old and giving him 120 years to do it. You see that? At first I was thinking, no fucking way could somebody do that. But then the Bible's like, haha, not so fast there, fella. And gives you a hard dose of perfectly reasonable, not at all far-fetched, biologically and scientifically sound truth. So, go Bible. That'll taught him. So, Kentucky and crew are claiming damages, even though the structure wasn't damaged, and it in no way affected business. In other words, access road or no access road, people aren't showing up. This is just another desperate attempt to make money, and part of what I find so egregious about Ham Hick and Company. Most of the capital used to build the faux gopher wood in Normandy came from junk bonds that the city of Williamstown issued. $62 million to be exact. Not to mention agreeing to forego 75% of the park's property taxes for 30 years, as well as spending over $10 million to improve local roads and infrastructure. The state also gives $18 million in subsidies for being a tourist attraction. All in good faith that this attraction would bring tourism dollars to the community, as well as money coming in from property taxes. Now, just to give you an idea as to what a scumbag Ken Sham is, this is an excerpt from an article from Americans United. To help cover the cost of emergency services the small town now must provide to the visitors of a large amusement park within its borders, city officials last year initiated a 50-cent fee on tickets sold at the Ark and a few smaller amusement venues in Williamstown. This is the fee Ken Panzi and his company Answers in Genesis tried to avoid paying last summer by briefly switching the park's status to non-profit. A move that would have had a crushing long-term impact on property tax generation for the community, but also nearly resulted in the park losing its $18 million state tourism subsidy. So this fucking scumbag tries to get out of paying 50 fucking cents a ticket to the community that not only donated most of the land to him, that's right, they gave him most of the land, on top of giving him $65 million, on top of the $10 million they invested for roads and infrastructure by changing the status of his organization, Answers in Genesis, there's an oxymoron, to a non-profit. But then later that year, in December as it turns out, it was ruled that they were ineligible for the $18 million subsidy because, as a for-profit organization, they were discriminating in their hiring by basically only hiring people who believed the story of Noah's Ark and were, of course, of Christian faith, which is fine for a non-profit ministry, but not okay for a business looking for tax incentives. But, you know, him being the mutton-headed, mutton-chop backwoods mook that he is, he didn't get that. So what did he do? That's right! He tried suing them, claiming some anti-Christian prejudice, which is pretty fucking funny considering he lives in a state that gave his company more than $75 million to build the fucking thing. So yeah, this isn't the first time that the Hamburglar has tried filing a frivolous lawsuit in a desperate cash grab to, no pun intended, save a sinking ship. The Ark encounter. It's bigger than imagination. You know what? They need to change that. It's the biggest stretch of the imagination. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Do you see the correlation there? Do you see it? And remember to comment, like, subscribe.
Discuss.
You know what? Even if you didn't like it, subscribe anyway, alright? Give me a fucking break. I'm gonna go bury my nuts, if you know what I mean. Huh? Huh? Oh, God, I need a squirrel friend. Cause I'm Ken Ham, I'm an 8-brain man, yes I am Ken Ham. I'm a big kind man, dinosaur live with man, yes I am Ken Ham. I believe in the flood and the divine. When they handed out brains, I was in the wrong line. But I'm a creationist, so I'll be just fine. Yes, I am Ken Ham.
And here's a squirrel, Mr. Squirrel. Mr. Squirrel, could you tell me how it was on the Ark? It was a nightmare, man. It was a fucking nightmare. It was the biggest nightmare. Those stripy bastards, they killed everyone, man.
Nub it! Yeah.